Carol. I am the Ore Council Day Camp Program Director this year for our Cub Scouts, and I want to welcome you to our first ever video training for our volunteer staff, and those would be the people that come to lead the stations at our day camps. I want to say thank you to all of you who volunteer to be on our staff. We actually do 29 days of camp over the summer, and we have about 3,000 boys come to visit us, and we have a new staff every day. So that means there's nearly 1,000 of you that come to lead these fun stations and teach the boys. And the better we can support you, the better you'll be prepared to teach them and to have a great day at camp. Let me give you some tips for the day of camp. Arrival times are as follows. If you're doing a one-day camp with the Cub Scouts, you'll need to be at camp at 7 a.m. at the various locations. And if you're doing a Webelos camp, either day 1 or day 2 of Webelos camp, you'll need to be there at 12 noon. The reason we arrive early before all the boys is so that we can unload the trailer and set up each station and just be ready for them when they get there. Then you need to bring a lunch with you and a water bottle. You can bring a camp chair if you want. And you can also bring a pop-up or an umbrella for some shade. We do have trees at most of our camp locations, but I can't guarantee that everybody's going to get a tree. So if you want to bring your own shade, that's great. If you don't need to use it, you can leave it in your car or whatever. Then at the end of the day, after the last station is done, there's 10 stations throughout the day. We'll load up. You can have your last group of boys help you pack your tote and clean up all the station stuff, and then you'll take it back over to the trailer and help us load it if you would please. That gets us all home a little bit earlier, and we're usually done loading the one-day camps by 4 o'clock, sometimes earlier, and the Webelos camps will be all packed up and ready to go home before 9 o'clock, I'm sure. So welcome to the videos. I'm going to go through each tote separately, and there'll be a video for each one. And we'll see you on your day of camp. Okay, so this video is for the all-access ID bands, or otherwise known as our leather workstation. So first of all, I'm going to have just show you what's going to be available for you. When you get there in the morning, you'll grab your tote, you'll grab this crate, it's very heavy, and these 2 pieces of wood. Those all go with you to the leather station. And then I'm going to open the tote and show you everything that's in there, and then just kind of walk through what you do with the boys. You'll have this black folder. It has the station write-up in it, the instructions. So please feel free to look at these ahead of time. You should be getting an email with them from your volunteer coordinator. So that's there. We have a little bucket of sponges. That's to aid in the dampening of the leather so that you can get a good stamp. We also have spray bottles. We found that the spray bottles are really nice to wet the leather down too. So we have a couple of those. We have mallets, and there's plenty. There's one for each boy. So as you're unloading everything, you'll set up kind of 16 different stations at your tables so that everything's ready for the boys when they get there, because they'll want all the time they can to actually do the leather stamping. These blocks of wood are set in the center of the tables, and they're to hold the stamps so that it'll be easier for the boys to find them. I'm not going to get both of them out. There's 2, so you can put them at different ends of the table just to make it easier for the boys to find stuff. Now there's several little buckets in here that have different stamps or handles. We will have plenty of ID bands for the boys, so each boy gets one. And we have tons and tons of stamps. I'm not sure that I'll get all of them out for the video, but we'll kind of show you the box. These are what will go here. So they're just pre-made stamps with handles attached. And you can just line them out so the boys can see the different patterns. If you want to zoom in there so they can see. They all have different patterns. Here's a little snake, here's a fleur-de-lis, little wings. So there's a bunch of those. Then in this tote, there are some larger stamps with no handles. So the handles are here. So you just click it on like that, then they can hammer on the handle with the mallet. And then they just come apart. So these you could either lay out on the table or you can just leave them in the totes. We have several sets of letters that you can use. We just ask that at the end of the day, make sure everything gets put back where it was. And we went through the alphabet collections to make sure we had all the letters. We didn't send you the ones that were missing letters. There's also little tiny stamps here with a smaller barrel. And we do have handles with this for the smaller barrels too, so they can use those as well. And there's another letter set in this one too. So just take a look at what you've got available in the tote. You can get all of it out and spread it out on the tables. We'll have a couple of tables for you to use. Let me get an ID band out. The wristbands are really good size. They're over 1 inch wide, so there's plenty of room for the boys to stamp. So at first, you do want to, let me explain this too. These are carpet squares, and then underneath the carpet squares are little slabs of marble. So at each station, you'll set up a slab of marble. You'll put the carpet square, it's this way. Carpet square, then the marble, and that's to give the boys a good surface to pound on without creating a lot of noise in the camp. Because a lot of our tables are metal that we have at the camps, and when you're pounding on a metal table, it makes a lot of noise. So what they'll do first is give their leather, these haven't been used all year since last camp, so if we have a problem, we can get new bottles. Alright, what we're going to do then, I'll show you the sponge method. And we'll make sure our spray bottles work. So you want to get the leather evenly wet. If they have to re-wet it, make sure they do the whole thing again so that it doesn't leave water spots. And this is all in the write-up on how to do it. So I've got a nice evenly wet piece of leather here, and I'm just going to pick a stamp. I think I'll do this one. It looks nice and sharp. And then if you've got enough water, you should see a nice dark impression with your stamp. And then it will dry and it will be lovely. So that's how you do the leather work. The boys can do whatever they'd like. As far as designs, they can put their name on it, their pack number, anything they want to do. So that's leather. Thanks. So after they're all done and you hear that first horn blast, we'll do a horn blast when there's 5 minutes left. Then have them put everything back in the wood blocks, have them put their mallets down. Make sure that they've written their name on their wristband if they didn't stamp it on the front, so we don't lose any, because they're all going to look alike and no one will remember what they put on their wristband. And then we would just ask you to you reset the stations in between the stations, and then at the very end of the day, just make sure that everything goes back where it was. All the marble blocks are stacked in here neatly with the carpet squares on top. The sponges have been wrung out and the water dumped. We don't need water in the tote. And they can all go back in here. Empty any water bottles at the end of the day. And if you have any problems during the day or you need something refilled, just come and find one of the directors in the green shirts and we can get what you need. The mallets can be a little bit tricky reloading into the tote, but they'll all fit. These will more than likely be in a box, so we won't have to put them in the tote, but you can do that. And I think we'll have some scrap leather also for them to use. To practice on before they start on their project. This goes back in the tote as well. And then you'll just carry everything back to the trailer and help us load it up. Okay, thanks. We'll see you at camp.